everyone, welcome to the Felicity Yarn Studio podcast. I'm Zoe, I'm your host, and I am so happy to have you guys here today to talk about knitting and the fiber arts. If you'd like to follow me on social media, I am Zoe Nichols on Instagram and Ravelry. I also have an Etsy shop under the name of Felicity Yarn Studio with hand-dyed yarn. You can find links to all of that in the description box below, and that's where I'll put show notes and links to what I talked about today. So again, thanks so much for joining me. I know I have seen a few new subscribers around here, so I'm so happy to have you guys with me. And to all my returning viewers, thank you so much for coming back and listening to the rambly craziness here. So before we get started today, I wanted to go ahead and talk about what I'm wearing. This is my Sipila pullover by Caitlin Hunter, and this is in two colors that I dyed for my shop. I called the pink Millennial pink, and the tan color is Antiqued Sands. I had originally called it something else, but I called it Basic Bitch, but that felt a little crass. I don't know. Anyway, so I changed it. But it's a great neutral. They're both great neutrals in my opinion. And I'm sorry if this is like fuzzy and got cat hair all over it. I need to give this one a wash. But there's the colors. And so, yeah, I really like the way this turned out. It is a little bit on the super oversized end of the fit for me, but I like having all this positive ease. And I also like, cleaning myself up. I like that there's not a ton of contrast in the color work, which I know is kind of breaking the rules of color work. But I kind of like the faded antique look that you get with these two similar tones in value. And they both are very lightly speckled, which I guess you can see more in the pink because that's solid, but this is one of my all-time favorite knits. I wore this one a lot last winter and when we were in Scotland. I might knit another one, I might not. I didn't fly through the color work like I normally do for whatever reason, but I would like a short sleeve version, so we'll see. There's a gazillion other color work patterns out there that I have my eye on as well. So anyway, that is that, what I'm wearing. Yeah, so next, I guess we'll talk about spinning, which if you have been watching my Vlogtober videos, you'll know that I picked up my spinning wheel last week. I got a Schacht Ladybug, and the reason or how I wound up with this spinning wheel is Naomi, who is my sister. She is the Yarn Curator. She also has a podcast. If you watched this before, of course you're familiar with who she is, but for all of you newbies out there, I mentioned her probably about 5 times every episode. Anyway, she has a local yarn shop down in Florida, and they do a really nice sale every summer, and this wheel was like 40% off, and so I jumped on it, or I had her jump on it for me. Brand new wheel, so I'm over the moon about that. I've been getting to know her this week, and yes, I named her because I'm a crazy person. I think this is her name. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to change it, but I believe she's going to be Annabelle. And her full title, because I'm absolutely ridiculous, is Lady Annabelle Bug. Yeah, I did it. Anyway, she works great. I did mention on one of my vlogs that I thought that the flyer was making a clicking noise, but I think I just didn't have it positioned in there correctly. Another kind of like funny thing that happened, you're supposed to, for anybody who's not a spinner, you're supposed to oil the parts, you know, every hour or so that you use the wheel. And it calls for 20 or 30 weight motor oil, which I was gonna put my husband in charge of getting for me, but he looked it up and you can apparently also use gun oil, and he has some of that around the house. So I've been using gun oil on my spinning machine, spinning wheel, and we went to Walmart to try to find some motor oil and couldn't find anything. That was what I was looking for. So yes, I've been using gun oil to lube up the spinning wheel, which feels really weird to say. I don't know why that's so weird to me. But anyway, it's working great. I'm getting the hang of it, I feel like, a little bit. I really went into not a whole lot of detail, but my vlogs from the past week or so really talked about the fibers that I started off with, which the first one was alpaca. I guess I could go get it and show you guys, huh? All right, so this is kind of the first bobbin that I was working on, which I definitely feel like I got a little bit better at, so it doesn't look quite as wonky as it did in the beginning. And this is just some, I believe it's 100% alpaca roving. When I was very first starting, it was like lace weight to bulky weight on here. And I probably won't do anything with that. Honestly, I'll probably just wind that off and use it to like stuff something, or I don't know. Can you make dryer balls out of alpaca? Somebody let me know in the comment box below. But yeah, I have plenty of this alpaca to do something with if I really wanted to. It does make my nose itch when I'm spinning with it, and it kind of flies everywhere, so I don't know, we'll see. I think it got passed along to me from Naomi, since she was kind of like meh about it as well. And then the other bobbin that I started was from some of this like mystery wool, and it's been in my stash for a while now, so I think it was a little bit felted because I wasn't able to draft it very easily. And it was spinning up kind of really thick until I really figured out how hard I had to tug to get it to draft properly. So I only have another little ball about this size in here. I will probably just go ahead and finish spinning this so it doesn't go to waste, and I am going to make dryer balls out of this one. Just because, why not? So yeah, that is that. And then, so after I did those two, a couple of days in, I decided that I wanted to move on to some good stuff. So I broke into the pound of fiber that I bought from EchoView Fiber Mill, and that is this merino. I think it's just merino. It's the roving that they use for their Haley base, which I want to say is like a chunky weight, but I don't remember off the top of my head. It's really soft. I do remember that because I got some last year. But I bought this through their mill membership, which I talked about in either in my last podcast or in like the second vlog. I don't know. But Anyway, I'll just run through it real quick. The way that their mill membership works is you pay $25 a year for access to a special section on their website, and you get deeply discounted access to deeply discounted products. So like this fiber was probably just some ends that wouldn't either make enough or wasn't quite right. I don't know, but I paid $15 for a pound of fiber, and it's really nice. It's really soft. It does have a little bit of vegetable matter in it, but I don't mind picking it out as I go along. But yeah, so like any other yarns that maybe have a slub in it when it's spinning, or it's not quite the right weight. I know I bought some yarn that was a colorway that they decided not to launch in the spring. So yeah, it's a really great resource if you're looking to not spend a ton of money on really nice quality products that are ethically and sustainably made. They have a really great ethos about the environment and trying to be as sustainable as possible. So I really appreciate that. Also, they're local to me. They're right outside of Asheville. So it feels great to support a local business that I think has a great business model. So anyway, back to the actual spinning here. When I switched to this roving, it was like a light bulb went off, or it was like that aha moment, because when I was trying to draft that brown wool, it was not drafting at all. But this, you can tell, just like melts apart like it's supposed to. So I've really enjoyed working with this. I have a bobbin going on that right now, so I was able to spin much finer, more consistently with this. And so I do actually feel like I'll be able to spin a second bobbin and ply those together and get something halfway decent out of it. What'll probably happen is it'll wind up going into a pile of hand spun yarn that I have from Naomi right now that will be a blanket one day. Yeah, so that's that. Spinning is coming along great. I'm really enjoying it. It's nice to have a different craft at night to sit down and it's just a different thing for my brain to engage in. I did notice I was getting a little bit sore in my wrist, so that's why I've been trying to limit myself to like half an hour or so every day, and you know, just remind myself to get up and move around every once in a while. So anyway, yes, spinning 10 out of 10. We'll definitely be doing again. Yeah, let me rearrange here real quick. Okay, why don't we move on to some knitting? I felt like I didn't have a ton to show y'all as far as knitting goes, and I do and I don't. I don't know. It's probably about the same. The spinning really sidetracked me, and then I pushed really hard last week to finish dyeing up the advent calendars for my Etsy shop, and I did get those done, and I am in the middle of packing them up right now. And my plan, I would love to get them out the door by Wednesday, but might be Thursday, but it's probably gonna be Wednesday. I'm just trying to give myself a little bit of wiggle room, which I'm already ahead of schedule. They were supposed to ship the 1st of November. So I'm really pleased to be getting them out mid-October. Anyway, that's not knitting, that is yarn dyeing business. So yeah, so anyway, knitting, I do have a finished object, but I don't have it to show y'all. I'll pop a picture on the screen. I did finish the socks that I was working on last time in the Mondim yarn, the one that I was making one long tube of. And I did document this in one of the vlogs. Again, I'm not sure which one it was. I'll try to put it on the screen if I remember which episode it was, if you guys want to go back and look. But basically what I was doing is I had about 60 grams of this wool that Naomi had sent me her leftovers of, and I wanted to make the most of it. So I knit a cuff, and then I knit one really long tube until I had about 6 grams of yarn left, and then I knit another cuff, and I actually wound up with 2 or 3 grams of yarn left over. So I didn't use every last drop, but I did my best to. And then what I did was I folded them in half, and I found the center of the tube, and I snipped into that and put on the toes. And then I put in an afterthought heel on them. And they actually turned out into a good size, like probably a normal size pair of socks. Again, I knit 72 stitch socks. I had originally planned for them to be for me, but because my aunt was bringing the wheel up from Florida for me, I just felt like I wanted to give those to her as a thank you present, and they were well received. So I didn't really enjoy knitting with the Mondim. I know a lot of people really enjoy that yarn. Now when I tried the socks on, because I did put them on before I gave them to her, not gonna lie, I really liked the way they felt on my feet, but I didn't enjoy knitting with it. And I think that's because I was using a wooden 9-inch circular needle. It was a bamboo needle, and I think it was just really, I felt like I was fighting the wool the whole time. I'm gonna try, I have a skein that I've also picked up of the same base. So when I knit with that, I'm definitely gonna use some metal needles, and I think it'll be a much better experience. But yeah, that is that. That was my first time also cutting in for the toes or the heels, which I mean, I don't think a lot of people cut in for their toes, but it wasn't terrible. I don't know. I prefer the afterthought heel method, where you, at the beginning of a row or wherever you want your heel to be in, you knit with a scrap piece of yarn for like half of your stitches, and then you go back and you knit with your regular yarn again. So then you have this piece of scrap yarn knitted into your work, and all you have to do is pick that out when you're ready to put in your heel. I did kind of boo-boo one stitch where I cut like half of the threads on it, so I had to kind of do a little bit of surgery there, but it worked out okay. It wasn't that big of a deal. I don't know, it just, maybe it's just because it was my first time, it felt weird. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna keep doing it my way when I do afterthought heels. I actually prefer the fit of the heel flap and gusset, but I have another, I've just been doing the afterthought heel where you basically decrease like you would for a toe. So I want to try a short row heel and see if that's any better. So that is my finished sock that I don't have to show y'all. That leads us into works in progress. And the first one I'll talk about is my Elton in my Woodsy and Wild bag. Again, I felt like I didn't really make a ton of progress on this until I pulled it out last night and did a few more rows, and I was like, oh, maybe I did. As previously discussed, I am making a pullover instead of a cardigan, and using the boobs as measurement, I believe that I was somewhere around here last time, so I have done about 4.5, 5 inches, and I believe that I only have about 6 or 7 inches of the body left to go, because I do prefer a longer body on my garments. I think this one is actually like kind of a crop design since it is a cardigan. But let me show you that. And the yarn that I'm using is some of my own hand-dyed yarn for the sock yarn base in the colorway Sunset. And it's a nice peach color with some pinks. It's kind of a tonally peachy pink. And I had started alternating between these two to work this one in, because I think it is just a little bit different from this first one that I had. But I think I'm just going to go ahead and break the yarn on the little ball and save that to do my collar so it'll match the top part. And for the fuzzy part where you would normally use mohair, I'm using this. It's an Angora base, Orkney Angora, and it's yarn that I picked up from the Be Inspired Fiber Studio in Edinburgh on our trip. I believe it was 70% Angora, 30% wool, and it's got just a nice halo fuzz to it. And I do have a second skein of this, but that's what is amazing to me about this project is I am making the 58-inch bust, which should give me about 8 inches of ease, which is less than what the pattern calls for. I want to say it's almost like 16 inches of ease. I didn't want it quite that baggy since I'm doing a pullover. But yeah, I would probably, if I hadn't have started alternating skeins on the sock yarn, I would probably be just finishing up the first one. And I still have a couple of sections worth of the Angora as well. So it really is amazing how little yarn this project takes. And it's on US size 4, which is 3.5 millimeter needles. And I'm using some clover bamboo needles, which actually have a fairly pointy tip for these. A lot of time the tip seems kind of dull on the clovers. Yeah, so this is coming along. I got about, from the stitch marker or the progress keepers, what I've done since the last time. I measured it last time, it was about 4.5, 5 inches. So I really think I could be done with the body relatively soon if I kind of knit monogamously for a while, which is not really my strong suit, but I would really like to have this done for SAF, which again is in about 12 days. So maybe, we'll see. Gotta get my house ready for house guests too. So yeah, this is loving my Elton. It just shed a whole bunch of Angora fuzz on my black pants down here. Awesome. Yeah, so I will keep y'all posted. Hopefully I'll have the body done. Shoot, maybe I'll have the whole thing done. That's usually the kiss of death for me though, is when I say maybe I'll have the whole thing done and then I never get it done. All right, I'm gonna put this one away. Next up, I have my vanilla spice socks, which again, not a ton of progress, partially because I've been working on both of them at the same time, and also just because just haven't had I don't know, they're kind of just my like travel in the car on the go knitting. So yeah, from the progress keeper, that's the whole like 1.5 inches worth of progress total that I've made. They are getting to be pretty equal though. And I'm almost, honestly, I probably only have another 1.5 inches to go before I'm at the toe on both of these. So again, maybe I'll have these done soon. Probably not, but Before I forget though, these are the Vanilla Spice socks by Woolfield Studios. And they have a faux cable detail down the back of the leg, and it goes into the heel. Yeah, so the yarn is Yarn Ink in the colorway Taffy. So I really like these, and I'd really just like to have these off of the needles so I can start another pair of socks that will probably languish on my needles for months at a time. Actually, probably not, because I want to cast on some self-striping, and I tend to fly through the self-striping pretty quickly. So yeah, another Woodsy and Wild bag. The last knitting thing that I've been working on. And this is in my fringe bag. I finally sat down and finished ripping back on my Stalactite sweater, which I had thought I had ripped back as far as I needed to, and then I picked up the stitches and I was like, oh wait, I need to go back like 8 more rows. So I finally did that. I ripped all the way back to where this progress keeper is, the little key cat. And that is from Hannah of Corner of Craft podcast. Naomi managed to snag me the little gray kitty cat on one of her shop updates recently. And I'm so happy I looked. I never remember when her shop updates are, so that really made me happy. Anyway, my sweater. So yeah, I ripped all the way back to where that is. Wherever it went now. And I've done, yeah, so about 2 inches from there. And I'm almost ready to do another stalactite row. So this feels really fast compared to Elton, which I mean, it's like worsted weight yarn, so it ought to be. And I'm a little bit sad because I had kind of wanted to wear this at SAF. Dark yarn shows everything. I kind of wanted to wear this at SAF, and I think Naomi's gonna have hers done. But in choosing between, I could abandon everything else and try to get this done, which is possible. Or I could try to knock out Elton, but I can't do both. I don't know, what do y'all think? Which one should I try to finish? I don't have to have a new sweater. I still haven't even worn my dark water sweater out yet, so that can always be a SAF option as well. I also think it might be a little bit warm for this. It's not, I don't think it's gonna be as cold and wet as it was last year. So anyway, I need to look and see where I'm at on the pattern on this, because I think I do one more repeat. I don't know. I know I'm getting close to separating for the sleeves though, or at least I think I am. Oh, the other thing I did for this was I went on ahead, and before I frogged anything, I picked up the neckband just to make sure that wasn't gonna make a huge difference in the fit. But I wanted it to be accurate now whenever I try it on for fit. So I went on ahead and put the neckband on. So I did get, so more like 3 inches of knitting done. So yeah, this will get done when it gets done. I actually think this will make good winter time, or like when it's cooling off, but it's not cold here yet. Like today, the high is still gonna be like 75, which is nice. That's actually like perfect to me. But this is the giant ball of yarn that I frogged, which I am slowly whittling back down. Stalactite. Oh, I don't think I mentioned, the pattern is Stalactites by Camille, and the yarn that I'm using is Croft 29 in their Hebridean wool. And my little contrast color is Brooklyn Tweed Shelter in the Foothills colorway, which I really love how like yellowy green it is. It's funky. I don't know. It speaks to me for some reason. So yeah, those are those two together. So those are my knitting whips. Let me rearrange again. All right, lastly, I talked on the last podcast about crocheting a bunch of little animals for my niece for her birthday. And I had 2 of those done. And my sister-in-law had mentioned she has a favorite stuffed animal, which is this little pig. Actually, he's not little. I'm making her a little matching pig to go along with it. So yeah, I'm basically just working from a picture and kind of trying to interpret it, but I have some pig legs and I started the body, and that's as far as I got on that. And I am just winging this, making it up as I go along, just based off of the pictures that she sent me. It's coming out a little bit bigger than what I had originally envisioned, but that's fine. So I really need to get a move on this. Her birthday is in early-ish November, and I started a little duck amigurumi, but I don't think I was doing the pattern right, so I ripped it out. Really exciting stuff there. But yeah, I did go out and buy a whole like rainbow of acrylic yarn to make her these things. So I really like to go ahead and get moving on those. Again, my brain usually requires a different craft every night, depending on my energy level and, you know, what the day has been like and all that jazz. So anyway, I'll get to those here shortly. I feel like if I just spent a day or two sitting down and like binging on making animals, I could go ahead and make what I want to make. So I don't know if you noticed, I'm a little bit of a procrastinator as well. So that is all of my whips at the moment. I do have some acquisitions. When I went to go pick up my wheel, I drove down over to Franklin, North Carolina, which is about 2.5 hours west of where I live and more in the mountains. That's where my aunt has a little second home out there. So there is a local yarn shop there, and it's called Silver Threads and Golden Needles, and it was a lovely little shop. I'd actually been there last year as well, and they let me film, and I put that all in the vlog. I believe that's days 8 and 9, when I kind of smushed 2 days together. But anyway, I did pick up a few things there. I talked about it in my vlog, so I won't go into it at super great detail here, but I got this skein of Regia Perfect to make some more socks. I just love this mauve color. Nothing super special here. I'm trying to be good before SAF. And I got myself a pin, and I just had to share this pin with the world again because it's for me. You better swatch, which I think it'll look really nice on this bag here. It matches my sweater. Ironically enough though, I did swatch for this project. Proof. See, I am sometimes a good knitter. So yeah, I'll probably put that on here later today, find the perfect spot for that. I'm always, what am I trying to say here? I really like the enamel pins. I actually talked about them in one of the vlogs as well. You should just go back and watch them all. They're there. That'll just cover everything. But I keep them all on this like fabric pennant thing because I'm afraid of putting them on my bag and losing them, since they all kind of hold a little bit of like sentimental value, or, you know, have some kind of memory attached to them. So if I do put it on this bag, I probably won't bring that bag out into the world with me anywhere, at least while the pin is on it. So that's what I got at that yarn shop. I got something else, but it is for a secret swap. And then, since Naomi had my spinning wheel and she and I just kind of randomly throughout the year swap packages with each other, she sent some things up with the box that she had kind of been collecting for me. So she picked these up also during the that big clearance sale at the same yarn shop. I think I know what the name of it. I'll put it on the screen what the name of the yarn shop was. I don't want to say the wrong one. But yeah, like I said, I've been kind of building up my stash, my sock yarn stash. So that's what those should end up like. So just some basic old sock yarn. I really love this colorway though. And this will probably be socks for Jason one day. I have other sock yarn picked out for him. I just have never gotten around to knitting him socks because he wears like men's size 15 shoes and he has gigantic feet. And I'm a little bit intimidated. But anyway, she also knows how much I love a good coral. And this skein of Spun Right Round looks like it was also on sale while she was there. It's called Tomato Soup. And this color is gorgeous. I really like those speckles down there. I have a couple other kind of corally colors, but they're a little bit lighter and less saturated than this, so I don't know if they'll make for a good fade. I'll have to pull them all out and see. If not, it would always make a good pair of socks, or it'll just live in my stash until I find the perfect. Actually, this would make a really pretty like contrast color on a Zweig. I've always kind of envisioned, well, two things. Number one, I fell in love with Little Tayloress's all black Zweig. I'm totally stealing that idea and making that. But also doing a coral in the like lace section with like a gray body, I think would be really pretty also. I'm generally not a pattern repeater though, so decisions will have to be made. So she did send one other thing which I need to go pick up off the ground over here. Okay, and lastly, a little over a year ago, we were in Asheville, me and my mom and my aunts, and we were wandering around the farmer's market, and there was a booth there who had spinning, or I guess it was spinning fiber. Yeah, Smoky Mountain Fibers, Anne Marie Walter. And when I picked it up, it was all just little balls of roving in different colors. So I picked up a bag for me and I picked up a bag for Naomi because, again, $10 for 2 ounces. And it actually turns out that my mom knows this lady. She used to I don't think they worked together, but I think they knew each other through like conferences and things like that. So anyway, I sent them both down to Naomi, and I told her, or I asked her to spin up the one that I picked out for me, which was a bunch of, big surprise here, pinks and peaches and creams, and there might have been a brown in there also. So she had it for over a year and never did anything with it, but she bought herself a drum carder at the big sale as well. And so she put that fiber through the drum carder for me. And I love the way they are blended together. So this will make a really pretty something. Again, I think I mentioned this when I talked on my most recent vlog about the spinning. It's hard for me to, because I'm still new at this, it's hard for me to envision taking this, what it's going to look like in yarn form, and then go from yarn form into a finished item. I can usually look at yarn and envision in my mind what that's going to look like knitted up into whatever. So it's a learning experience. I'm getting there, but I really love these. These are going to be really pretty. And the interesting thing that Naomi mentioned to me is no two spinners will spin a bat up the same way. So it's always going to look different no matter how you spin it. Or, I don't know. It's going to be unique, one of a kind. That's what I'm trying to say. So anyway, I feel like I'm smushing these, so let me put them away. Okay, guys, I think that's going to be it for me. I haven't really been reading anything new. I'm almost all the way to the newest episodes of Ologies, which is, I'm like savoring them and parceling them out now because I know I'm going to catch up in the next few weeks. But yeah, I'm enjoying the fall weather. I will be vlogging again through the rest of the month. I think I'm going to keep the whole taking Sundays off thing going. SAF is not this weekend, but next weekend. But this weekend is going to be Rhinebeck, which if you're going, awesome. Enjoy it. Buy some yarn for me. So yeah, I'll be vlogging. My mom and Naomi should be here Wednesday of that week, and then we're gonna go up Friday for the first day of SAF. So I probably won't get another podcast in before then, so keep in touch with the vlogs. I do think we're gonna try to record something special together while we're all under one roof. So keep your eye out for that as well. If you ordered an advent calendar, those should be shipping this week. Yeah, so thanks so much for liking this video, commenting, subscribing. I really appreciate any interaction. I love talking to you guys. Again, if you have any tips on spinning, any resources, let me know. I think that is it. I will see you guys in a few weeks. Well, actually, I'll see you guys tomorrow on the vlog.